Hey guys, it's Andrew from 510 Books. It is, wow, it's Tuesday. It feels like it's Wednesday, but it's Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. So I want to piggyback on top of the video I made yesterday, which has got a lot of comments. um, and it's the only time that I'm aware of that I can remember. I've made hundreds of videos, so correct me if I'm wrong. And I have been posting on YouTube for 10 years. My first reselling video, I think, was actually 10 years ago. Yeah, 2015. But anyway, I believe it was the first video that I made that was entirely focused on some other YouTuber and talking about the stuff that they talk about, not agreeing with it, that kind of thing. And I think it's the first time I've ever done it. But anyway, I don't want to go into that. I just want to piggyback on top of it a little bit, and talk about the or what I want to talk about is I started doing this on Amazon. I started selling only books fulfilled by Amazon, FBA, which lots of people still do. And then that led to selling other types of media on on Amazon. After books, then I got into sending in CDs, into records, VHS tapes, sold hundreds of VHS tapes on Amazon through FBA. And then that all kind of evolved into getting into lots of large quantities of large media buys in pallets and other ways. And then that led me into selling other things. So I started to explore eBay. And then I saw some other resellers on YouTube and other places that were opening. This wasn't a bunch of them. It was like one or two in other states. So not anywhere near where I am, opening bookstores and selling other media while they continue to sell on Amazon. So I got the idea of doing that here locally, and it evolved into where I am now, which is 6 years, guys. 6 years. So I never thought that I would own a retail store, but because of really enjoying of the time I spent and really enjoying selling books, music, movies, and video games, I I realized that number one, it's a good idea to open a store like this now. Well, I did it 6 years ago in 2019. Is when I started, end of 2019. But nonetheless, this era that we're in, versus back in the 80s and 90s, which was probably way more expensive if you were an adult then to be doing something like that. And now you have all the access to all this media because of the streaming services for movies, TV shows, and of course for music. So it's evolved, right? The way people consume things. So now we have access to lots and lots of physical media that we can resell. And now it's catching on, and new artists are selling records. Well, for a long time now, but for the last 20 years, but now CDs, even cassette tapes. So things are coming back. Books never went anywhere. But I'm digressing. So my point is that I started selling online. That evolved. I still sell a lot on eBay, like I've mentioned all the time and talk about. But it evolved into all of this, which is not a huge store, but it's my little store here in Southern California that I opened in 2019, and it evolved from having one sale a month, having one open up one day a week, and then just figuring it out, having some employees, working out a little bit, not working out too well with that. And anyway, it's evolved into the point to where I talk about this sometimes in my videos, that I enjoy. I prefer selling more items in my store locally than I do online. And I'm not saying I'm going to stop selling on eBay and on Amazon. I just listed a book today on Amazon, actually, but I don't list that many. But because just some things make more sense. But the more my store grows, and what I mean by that is the bigger my customer base grows, which has been happening over the last couple of months more than any other time since I've had the store. As it grows, also the different interests grow as well. So what people are looking for grows. Maybe I didn't have people looking for romance novels, and now I do. Maybe I didn't have people looking for, I don't know, ska music, and now I do. So whatever it is, or documentaries, or cookbooks. And so I start to sell more items because there's a bigger pool of customers that physically walk in the store and look through my inventory and buy things that my other customers don't. So anyway, it starts to mean that I can add more inventory, more diverse, even more of a diverse inventory to my store. And so I enjoy selling here locally. Let me turn around. because I can sell a lot more in the store. And also, I think that it is a positive thing to have a store like this. I mean, this is what I sell, right? But I think it's good to have people, for people locally to be able to buy books, music, movies, and video games locally instead of having to go on Amazon or eBay or wherever else to find those items. Now, of course, my store is very small, and I cannot, currently at the size of my store, I can't have everything that people are looking for. Obviously, I know that, but I can offer a lot. And more these days, I hear people say, oh, sometimes somebody will walk in and say, oh, I just bought that online. Oh, I should have waited. I didn't know you had it. Or they come in and say, oh, I've been looking for this. I'm so glad you have it. And so that kind of stuff feels good. And I think it's a good thing for the community, the local area, for people to be able to do that. So, and also the other thing is, I've always heard for a long time now, when it comes to creating the idea of creating passive income, not through reselling, but through a variety of different means, or just working less and not being tied down. But now what I've done is I've created this location that has evolved into being profitable, and it's really just at the beginning of growing, right? Of getting to the size I think I can get to here where I am, and in this space, to a place where I have this physical space, and I have to be here in person when I'm open, or I have to pay somebody else, right? But I have to be here. So it's interesting how it evolves. Does that mean I always want to be here and never hire somebody? No, it doesn't mean that. Of course, for a variety of reasons, I want to grow the store, make more money, so I can hire people to help out, because I think that the business would be better. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. But just the idea of, oh yeah, work from home, or work from your computer, or work from your phone. Don't be stuck somewhere, and that's fine. That's great. I think that's something good to strive for. But it's funny how things work out that way. Like, if that's what you want, great. But and I'm not saying that that's not a good thing, but it's just funny for me. I want to sell more in my store now than I do on Amazon and eBay. I also enjoy things like keeping things organized. I start thinking about, how can I get it even more niche, like action movies, but can I break it down even more? Whatever, right? Like I have movies by actor, which is really fun. People come in and see that and they say, oh, that's cool. And I've sold a lot of movies that way because they go, oh, I love Tom Hanks. Like this Tom Hanks stack, legit, like is now full, but has been down to like here. It's gone back up. It's gone in the middle. It's, so certain actors, people buy a lot of. So anyway, like the Schwarzenegger, I have a very small amount, but every time I get a bunch, I always sell out. Same with Tarantino films. So just stuff like that, I can geek out on and have fun with. And I think it's valuable for people to have a place to come. And it's not really big enough for people to like hang out. But I have, a vision of the future where either I get another unit here right next to where I am, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, or I find the ideal location that is bigger, double, triple the size that I can afford, and have a lot more space to do more things in, to have a bigger selection, to have somewhere people can hang out, to have air conditioning, stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm not going to go on and on. I'll finish the video now, but I just wanted to make that point. That there's not a right or wrong way to do reselling or business in general. There's maybe more efficient ways to do things, more profitable in the sense of like finding the profitable items to resell quicker, that kind of stuff, right? But in terms of generally speaking, there's not one way of doing business, whether it's reselling or any other business, that's better than the other. It's what makes sense for you. Maybe you don't want to buy new stuff and sell it and slap your company on there because it's creating new stuff that we're putting into the world, versus you want to, go get, it doesn't have to just be media. It could be clothes. It can be whatever. You want to find new stuff and put it back into the ecosystem or back into people's hands to use it as much as possible for as long as possible, so we don't have to keep making new stuff, right? So anyway, there's lots of reasons to want to resell in a certain way and sell certain types of items. Like I mentioned before, I would never say that, oh, you're selling, I don't know why I keep going to this, but you're selling baseball bats. That's stupid. Or you're selling golf clubs, or you're selling you're selling tires, or, whatever it is. Well, you can't sell tires, but, stuff off of automobiles. I mean, I don't care. If you like it, if you know it, I always recommend that if it's something that you know about and really enjoy, then sell it. Start with that, right? I don't want to sell stuff that I don't like. If I don't want to sell clothes, I know that clothes are plentiful. There's so many resellers on YouTube that talk about selling clothes, and that's what they do. But I have no interest in it. But good for them, right? So anyway, so remember a couple things. Not every, the way you do. There's different ways of doing business, reselling, and it's up to you what makes sense to you, where you make the most money. Because obviously you want to make money, you need to make money at it. Otherwise, what's the point? Unless you're just kind of doing it for fun, which maybe is a thing. But keep that in mind, and don't let anybody tell you different. Yes, you can be more efficient, you can be quicker, you can do those kind of things, but just follow your path. I didn't know that I would end up having this store. When I started, I always thought I'd just be sending stuff into Amazon and then sit back and watch it sell, but just keep getting more stuff and sending it in. I ended up not liking that. There's a lot of things I don't like about Amazon, a lot of things I like about eBay, but eBay's not perfect either. I had this thought today. I was like, what if suddenly something went wrong with eBay? Where would I sell my stuff? Everybody's talking about whatnot. I tried it out. I didn't like it. So, try things out, see if you like it. Don't let someone else tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but it's always good to get advice, of course, that kind of thing. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video.